Going back to Chelsea, what on earth has gone wrong for them? Like, I'm going to throw a couple of blame onto Lampard because I don't rate him as a manager. Don't think he did anything really at Derby. Couldn't get them into the Championship. You know, third best manager in the world, Marcelo Bielsa, could get Leeds into the Championship, but Frank Lampard couldn't get him into that. Look at your face.
Honestly,
the fact that he was even nominated is a fucking joke.
But no, like, if you imagine
Werner hasn't.
Can you actually imagine if he won that award? How would he make? How would he get on the stage and make a speech? He'd be trying to kneel down.
The fact that Hansi Flick didn't win it is a fucking disgrace.
It's a bunch of fucking bollocks politics, isn't it?
Yeah.
Chelsea.
No.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I'm not sure. Like, I was listening to Talksport. Fucking famous last words. Take a drink, lads. I was listening to Talksport before. Two fingers. I was listening to Talksport before. I'm going to have to change it, aren't I? Like, I was listening to a very popular sports media station before.
Other sports radio stations are available.
Yeah. And there was a guy on, his name rhymed with Daydream Thuram. He's on everyone in a moment for being harsh on Lampard. Like, I can't understand why people are so harsh on Lampard. They're so harsh on Lampard. Ollie, it's fair that Ollie gets praise because United have been knocked out of the Champions League. Yeah, okay, I can understand that. Like, we shouldn't have been knocked out of the Champions League. I've seen a few United fans saying, we got a group of death. Come on. Even if we finish second to PSG, we should be finishing above Leipzig. We should be finishing above Leipzig. I don't care what you say. The thing is, for me, it's just... Champions League aside, we're talking strictly Premier League. Ollie did better than Frank last season. And, all right, you had the X factor of... or he had a transfer ban, he didn't have anyone to buy and stuff. No matter what you think about that and the players that he had and stuff, all right, I'll give you that one. On paper, yeah, we had signings that we were able to get in. We were able to reinforce the squad. Chelsea weren't. And they did well to finish fourth. I'm not denying that. They did well to finish fourth last season because Leicester were pushing hard at the end of the day. But they've spent 220 million on every area of the squad. Every area. It's not like they've gone out and bought strikers and midfielders. They didn't buy any defenders or shore up the goalkeeper. They've literally covered every single area and made it better. And they're struggling. And they're now behind us on points, like you said before, with a game in hand. We've got a game in hand on them. That's not good enough. It's not good enough. One win against a top 10 team, while the other team was in the top 10 currently all season, and we're 15 games in so far, nearly halfway through the season, is not good enough. Getting pasted by Arsenal, who hadn't won a game for what feels like... I mean, Tom Hanks was on that fucking island in Castaway for less time than Arsenal took to win a fucking game, let alone score a goal. And you're getting pasted 3-0. And Arsenal had a Aubameyang out, who is their best player. Regardless of form, he is their best player. I just don't think he's good enough. And I think it's rightly so that Frank Lampard is now starting to come under fire. I think his job is under scrutiny, and I think it's right. I don't know what you two think.
No, I agree. I mean, especially with the money he's spent. The money he's spent, you know, Abramovich will be expecting, you know, a far better return than what's currently. I mean, I wouldn't say actually not return. I mean, even some of the performances are just shocking. I mean, some of the games they're not even playing well, and I don't know whether that's because as well he's how many signings he's actually brought in over the summer. I mean, he did bring a few in. I mean, I'll go back to Kai Havertz. I mean, 80 million. Not his biggest fan anyway, but I mean, even Werner at 40 million, he's been in and out of games. He started off slow, then he seems to play well in, you know, Champions League and the European games, cup games, but for whatever reason in the Premier League, he's not doing it at the minute.
In all competitions, he hasn't scored in his last 11 games. That's a £50 million striker, that.
Yeah. I mean, is Thiago Silva, has he been out injured recently? Thiago Silva, has that contributed to some of the
him and Chilwell have been the only two that have really stood out for me. Who have looked decent, but again, like injuries, he was out for a bit. He's been back in the side recently, and Chilwell he was injured as well. But when those two play, they do look more secure. I just think they're shit, man. I just think they're really, really shit, and I think they've just got a manager that doesn't understand what he's doing. And I think for all the scrutiny that Ollie gets for it, they need to be looking south instead, because they've both been in the job exactly the same amount of time. And Ollie's taken us to what looks like a title challenge. I don't think Chelsea will finish top 4 this season.
No. They're in serious threat of dropping out, I think. Serious threat of dropping out.
I mean, I'll go back a couple of podcasts ago. They were second. They were second in the league, and I was like, they could be up there, come the end of the season. And then since then, I must have put the curse on them, because since then, I don't think they would have get. Well, they won one, haven't they? West Ham.
You tend to fucking do that, Dale. Like you'll talk something or someone up, and then all of a sudden they have a fucking shocker. Like, I think Arsenal are going to batter Aston Villa 3-0 and Aubameyang.
I did it on the WhatsApp group, didn't I? West Brom 1-0 against Leeds. Big Sam at the wheel. Going to pan out exactly like the Liverpool game. Nick a goal.
Fucking hell, man.
Just the tiny face. 5-0.
25-yard own goal.
Oh, that was awful. That.